Right, so last week we talked about the people who fail, like why people fail. So we figured today we'll go straight into the opposite of why people succeed. So, in a nutshell, if we were going to start to elaborate on this, the people who succeed, the people you've coached that succeed, that get what they want done, what do they do?
Relentless consistency is the number one thing I would say. It's the understanding of, even when things aren't perfect, they're not perfect, but still being as perfect as you can is the thing that gets you to the result that you want. I say if I had to kind of pick 3 to 5 characteristics that every client has, the number one thing actually is probably going to be communication, in the sense of if they're struggling, they message. When they check in, they actually put time into their check-in. If there's something that's not feeling right in the plan, they don't just keep going and suffer in silence. They actually talk and communicate with us so that we can do our job. What would you say would be your most important one?
I'd agree with that 100%. And I think one of the things that coaches don't do well enough, that I think ties into that perfectly, is understanding coachability. So I'll tell you a story, right? One of my clients who is a coach once reached out to me and he said, I've got this client that's struggling to adhere to this. They're every week on week, it's like a broken record. We just have the same old conversation. And he said, I'm thinking about sacking them. And I was like, okay. And I was like, why? Just because they're not doing what you expect them to? And he said, yeah. And I said, but that's your job. So our job as a coach, of course, there's this is where I'm going with this. There's an element of coachability that has to come from the client as well. So I think I fully agree with you 100%, but I think you can almost rewind a step and be like, the people who succeed are the ones that are willing to learn the most and willing to change. Because I'm sure you've worked with clients, I have in the past, who, if you suggest something or you say something, they almost just challenge you back. They just go, it's like a closed book. They go, no, I can't do that because X, Y, and Z. As opposed to a huge part of being coachable is quite literally taking feedback without ego, like you said, actually communicating. I think communicating is one of the most key skills. Like we've all had, again, I've had check-ins with clients where they go, this week was a shit show, this happened at the weekend and X, Y, Z and blah, blah, blah. And I always remind them that there's a question in their check-in last week, in every week obviously, that asks, is there anything coming up this week that we need to plan for? Are there any obstacles or hurdles this week? So a huge part of coachability is human instinct for sometimes people to go, how many times have you heard, oh, I know what to do, I just need to do it. Oh, I know I'm being shit, I just need to crack on and do it. And it's like, okay, cool, but there's a coachability aspect there that is so important when it comes to change. If I came to you right now to help develop my physique, to peak me for whatever, a bodybuilding show, shoot, like my trust is in you for you to tell me the things that I need to do, for me to take that on board, not to just disregard it or challenge it. It's to communicate. If something's going to be too difficult, then to communicate. So you're 100% spot on, communication and those things you mentioned, spot on, but I think the coachability comes before that without doubt.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. How many should we go with here? Should we have like another 2?
Yeah, I think so. I think like the main traits, because you said about consistency, and I think like it's 100% spot on. Like at the end of the day, consistency is the thing that most people are missing. But let's reframe it and think, well, if someone is inconsistent, how can they be more consistent? Like if I came to you and I'm inconsistent with my diet, how do we get more consistent?
Yeah. So the first question I'm asking them there is, where are we inconsistent? Is it every single day of the week? Is it the weekends? Is it after you go out on a night out? Like, where does that inconsistency actually lay in your week? And let's reverse engineer there. Okay, what does that look like? Okay, so I'm inconsistent on the weekends because I don't have a 9 to 5, don't go to work, I have a lie-in, I don't have any of my food prepped, I don't pre-plan anything. So it's like, okay, so the problem isn't that you lack consistency, the problem is that you don't plan. So that's, again, what makes people succeed is they plan and they structure ahead of time so they know what they need to do.
100%. Because when you have a plan, I feel like this one's like rocket science. I think we touched on this in the last episode, but I always say it's like when someone say, what is your number one hack? What is your number one fat loss hack? What is your number one physique hack? I'm like, planning. I can't even. I feel like it's fraudulent to call it a hack, because I'm like, if you just make a plan for the week and go, right, I've got cardio to do tomorrow, steps, whatever it is, I've got X amount of meals, X amount of protein. Like, if you plan for it the day before, it's quite hard to fuck it up. Like if I were to today go, right, tomorrow I need to hit 250 grams of protein and I'm going to have it via this, and I prep all that food tonight, for example, and I know I've got cardio tomorrow, so therefore I'm going to set my alarm earlier, I'm going out for whatever it may be. It's like, if you plan for it the day before, of course life is going to throw curveballs, but you're going to massively increase your chances. Something I use with my clients all the time is, I'm like, stack the chips in your favour. I use that phrase all the time. I'm like, are you going to be more likely to succeed tomorrow if you've prepped some food today, set an alarm for 5 o'clock, and you're like, right, I'm going to go do that first thing before the day? You're more likely to succeed than if you just go, all right, I'm going to have a lie-in, I'm going to sleep till 7, I've got no food prepped for tomorrow. You're more likely to fail. It's kind of obvious when you say it out loud, right?
It's like the law of probability of that, isn't it? It's like, if you have...
Literally.
If you have things done, your likelihood that you then don't do the things, because you've done the things already, it's so much smaller.
100%. So should we make this next point ownership? I'll tell you something I say to everyone, and I say this to all my clients. I'm like, just take fucking ownership for everything. Just stop. Like, I will really call people out when they're using because of this and because of this, and they blame that and they blame this and they blame this. And one of my key core premises, one of my key life principles, I just take responsibility. Like, anytime anything in business doesn't go my way, it's my fault. Anytime that if something happens with my physique or it's just I just blame myself, because I sit here and go, the more I blame myself, the more I'm able to acknowledge that I could have done something better, and then you can review your effort and then always increase it.
And I always think, the moment you give the power away is the moment you can't do anything to change it. So if it's, I fell off track because my no, you fell off track because you chose to. Not because your family. Because your family, their goals are not your goals.
And the people who succeed own it. The people that succeed, it's the difference. I can have two people say the same thing, same situation. I had this a few weeks back, probably a couple of months back now, but I had, on the same day, funnily as well, two people say the exact same thing in a check-in. And one of them was, I'm solo parenting this week, so everything's going to be a struggle. I remember that's how it was worded in the check-in, and about 4 or 5 check-ins later, literally on the same day, they went, I'm solo parenting this weekend, so I'm going to take the kids out to do the steps with me, and I'm going to make sure I get gym done on Friday, and then on Monday. So that the Saturday, Sunday, I'm just not going to train. And I was like, that's two people in the exact same situation, someone who has just blamed the situation and admit defeat, and someone else who has planned around it and just been like, yeah, I'm gonna win this situation regardless. So yeah, I think that one is huge. Ownership for me is huge. It's like a core, like, principle of my coaching. It's just taking ownership.
I would say one more that actually just comes to mind off the back of ownership is mindset. I genuinely think that all the clients that I have that have got into the shape that the best shape they've ever got into, have all gone into the process with a mindset of optimism or a mindset of positivity, of like,
100%.
I don't know where this is going to land me, but I know it's going to be better than anything I've ever done before. The ones that are like, oh, I don't really know if I want to get to that, or I don't know if I can. You've set yourself up for failure because you've already accepted You've already accepted lower standards.
100%. So we can reframe that. It's like, it's learning to enjoy a process. Because listen, let's be real, right? We've dieted down to single-digit body fat. Like, it kind of sucks. If you were to actually sit here now, and it's like, it's kind of, you're in the trenches at the moment. I'm getting away with my life's pretty easy at the moment still. But like, when you're in the trenches, it's like, yeah, it kind of sucks. But at the same time, you have to learn to enjoy the process. When I'm dieting, I learn to enjoy hunger. I learn to enjoy. It's the perspective always. It's being able to appreciate, I don't know, the sun shining when you're in traffic. Do you know what I mean? It's just learning to reframe perspective and just be like, I fully agree, because I think the people that everything's just a chore, oh, it's all just fat loss is a chore, and oh god, I hate the gym, and I hate this. You're just making it harder for yourself, as opposed to just being like, the more you're able to just enjoy the process and just like learn to enjoy your meals. I know, like, I cook good food, I season my food well. Like, I look for, when I'm in a fat loss phase and calories are low, I'm still looking forward to every single meal. And if you're sitting there and you're dreading everything, you're dreading steps, you're dreading the gym, you're 100% correct. You're just going to absolutely hate the whole process. So could we argue then, maybe that last point, and we can elaborate on that a bit more, emotional control or emotional regulation?
Yep. Yeah.
Because something I say to a lot of people, I'm like, there's a process to be done here, regardless of whether you enjoy it or not. Right. So if you sit here and go, I don't know, to lose X amount of weight, if you just take someone's actual statistics and go, they need to eat whatever 1,600 calories a day and do 15,000 steps and 3 lots of cardio a day. A week. Let's just say that's on paper already sounds shit. That sounds shit to me, right?
It's not
So
fucking fun.
yeah. But what you have to be able to do is go, okay, cool. So if you remove the emotion from this, it needs doing either way. Like it needs doing. So being able to control your emotions to a point where so many people are led by their emotions. They just go, I feel a certain way or I don't feel a certain way, and therefore, oh, I'm not going to do this or I am going to do this. And it's just being able to just remove that.
Yeah, it's understanding that the emotion is there regardless. So
Yeah,
whether you
literally.
feel it or you don't feel it, there's still the thing. You're still gonna go and do the thing, or you're not gonna do the thing, and then you're gonna be pissed off at yourself and even more emotional that you didn't do the thing.
Correct.
And you haven't got to where you
It's
wanted to get to.
It ends up just pouring petrol on fire. So, yeah, I'm fully with you. I think we've covered those grounds. I think preparing for things in advance. I think having a plan, putting yourself in a position where it becomes difficult to miss. I think from a consistency point of view, like we said, I think learning to control your emotions and thinking more about what needs doing rather than what you want to do. And that is like a muscle. That training, that one is like a muscle. Because I don't know about you, I just don't care. Even like it's like when people ask me like, what's your favorite body part to train? Do you have one?
I just train. To be honest, do I even enjoy training?
You're proving my point, because you
Just
just
do
get to
it.
this point where I think deep down we do. This will be a whole nother podcast episode, this one. We wouldn't be here after all these years if we didn't, but I'm the same as you, and this is proving my point, is that I don't have a favourite or a least favourite muscle part to body part to train, because I'm like, it all needs training.
Get trained. Yeah.
It's all got to get trained. It's all got to get trained at the same intensity. It's all got to be hit at the same intensity. So therefore, I just do it. I just put the music on and I just get stuck in. And I think the more you can do that with anything, with steps, with targets, with cardio, with your calories, and just be like, all right, map it out. I think sometimes people think of it as like, you become like dead inside or immune to emotion, and it's like, no, it's just learning to just
deal with it better.
Slowly. Correct, and just choose where you give that focus. Because again, look at how people do this with food. People act like, turning down. I've had comments over the years of, oh, I turned down cake at a party the other day, like it's this huge deal, and I'm just like, it's not.
You chose not to take the cake.
You're attaching so much emotion to it.
So then that's another thing we could then go down of a rabbit hole of another episode. But then the connotation of that to then people's negative or bad relationship with food. It's like, what is a bad relationship with food? What does that
100%.
even look like?
That's
what would you say as well in terms of the process of what makes people succeed? Have you seen or do you see increased probability of success in people that have done it more than once? Because I was having this conversation with a client earlier on today, and I was like, honestly, getting lean is to like single digit like 8-9% body fat for me is so fucking easy, because I've done it so many times. I know what it feels like, and because I've spent years doing it, I don't have to push that hard to get there.
But you also trust the process, and because you trust the process because you've got evidence of the process working. And I think, again, that's where people struggle, because you go back to why people fail. People often don't put in 100% effort because they don't try. They don't know what's going to happen at the end of it. Whereas you or me can sit there doing what we're doing over and over again, and you just know that you're X amount of time away from looking a certain way, and from like you've got the experience to understand that it happens. Again, this is where obviously having a coach is so powerful, and I think that's probably another layer we can add here, and it does tie back to coachability, but you have to trust the process and you have to trust your coach. It's that simple. You have to believe in a process. I think someone asked me this before, and I remember, like what kept me going in those, those early years of training where like not a lot is happening. Where
you're just spinning the wheels.
Like, it feels like you are. You don't have a physique yet. You're in the process of building it. Like what kept me going during those times, and it was just like, it was knowing that if I keep doing the right thing, then the outcome is going to happen. And I think people struggle with that, but the people who succeed, there's belief, because I've worked with a lot of people, and I'm always transparent. The people who have struggled, or the people that do not necessarily fail but struggle to get the physique they want, I don't think they believe it's. I think deep down they don't think they deserve it. There's something deeper there where they kind of like, they don't believe it. And you just nailed it there, because to believe in something you need evidence of it. Like we believe that the sun's going to come up tomorrow because we've got enough evidence that every day of our lives the sun comes up. Do you know what I mean? It sounds stupid, but this is how our worldview is formed as kids. Do you know what I mean? We start to understand how the world works. If you've never got lean before and you've always struggled, then there's always going to be a little self-belief issue there. So I think the people who succeed, You got to believe, man. Listen, this is like business. This is like anything. When I started this brand, when I started this, there was not one part of me that was like even believed or would accept failure. It was not a possibility. So you're 100% spot on from a mindset point of view. It was just like, what needs doing? Remove the emotion, do the fucking thing relentlessly over and over again until success is like the only option. Do you know what I mean? Go back to what I said about stacking the chips in your favour. If you do that, how do you fail? How can you fail?
It's impossible, because the momentum builds as well, and you see the thing stack, and then guess what? You put in even more effort. Because I always feel like with this as well, when someone starts, like what they think is 100% is probably 80%.
Yeah.
And then when they start seeing the results, they're like, oh, I can do extra. Oh, I can push. Oh, I can. Just like you've got to, as much as you need to be coachable, you also need to understand that you have to try and actually like genuinely try. Like there's times, I had it a couple of weeks ago where I was on the stairs and I started going hyper on the stairs, and I actually started like, but I was like, this is part of the process. I've never had this before, which means that when I turn up on stage in 7 weeks, there's going to be condition that I've never had before. Because I'm doing things that I've never done before.
Yeah. So even in the years that you've been doing this now, you're still unlocking new levels. Do you remember in Dubai 2024 when I was messaging you and I hadn't? It was you that made me get some carbs in. You're like, eat some fucking carbs, man, because I hadn't slept in 2 nights, and I was like. I was like, I couldn't recognise that I was in this much of a shit state, that I was that depleted, that I was that flat, and it was just like, it wasn't until I sent you a load of pictures and you were just like, mate, get some flipping carbs and just eat, just get some carbs. And I don't think we went mental that first day. It was just getting 500-600 grams of carbs in. I slept like a baby. The physique came to life the next day, but that was conditioned. That was where I sent you that picture in the morning, and my midsection was just obscene. It was like a roadmap on the abs, and that's the leanest I've ever been. So it's once again, you're learning to fight for. You have a new understanding of the suffering and the sacrifice and the whatever that it takes to actually get to that point. So yeah, you are 100% spot on. But a lot of that still ties into unlocking new levels of effort is still coachability as well, isn't it? Because then it's being open to the idea that even though you may think you're doing your current 100% max, that's still your subjective max, and so it could technically still be this. It's like training, right? You and me have trained together, we can train hard, and it's like, but what's to say you still can't unlock that final rep, and does it come from a positive space or a negative space? Because I think a lot of people's success this again we probably get quite deep with this, but the people who succeed, what's their motive to succeed? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it a fear of failure? Because I know for me, I've spoken about this before, if you said to me, Jeff, do this thing, I'll give you £1 million, that doesn't actually inspire me or motivate me as much as if you gave me a negative, like a threat. If you turn around and said, do that thing, or I'll take away your house, your kids, your family, and everything you've got, right? And I know it sounds a little bit dark, but that fear of failure for me is what keeps me pushing forward. It drives me personally. And I know I've worked with a lot of people who have done exceptionally well with their physique, where they have the same thing. They are so pissed off at a situation or a refusal to accept where they were at, and that negative actually becomes a really positive drive.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing for me, is it's like when I think the biggest thing for me when it comes to actually getting clients that get results is them understanding the type of personality that they have. I think is a super important thing, in the sense of like, they know what makes them tick, and they know what like when they're on board in that feedback, they're relaying, this is how I need to be spoken to, this is how I need to be coached, this is what I like. And then it's then the coach's job to just make sure that you're coaching the client in the way that the communication with the client is the best way to get them where you want them to be.
Yeah, because everyone's psychology, like I just said with me, like the fear of failure is greater than the desire for success. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So for me, that's that works well. One of the most pivotal moments of my life was the brokest I've ever been when I was about 21, 22 years old, where I had to fill up my car with £2.50 of change. I was so angry at myself for being in that situation.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas once again, someone else would blame external factors and this. But that was a turning point in my life to be like, okay, cool. I'm not happy with myself right now.
Yeah.
What do I need to do to make sure I am never in this situation again? So again, someone else, it might just be like their psychology is a little bit more driven towards, right, I want to feel great, I want to look good, and it's all positive and whatever. But exactly like you said, it's being able to lean into what actually truly drives you to a point where you'll just do it no matter what. Because for me, the idea of failing, the idea of, oh, I tried this and I failed, is hideous. Like, that's hideous for me. It's correct. So that's what I can just show up. I can just show up and be like, what needs doing? Because I don't care. Because there is no way I'm going to fail at this thing. It's like a bit of maybe what the one we're looking for is like, you need to be a bit stubborn.
Yeah, that's the one.
There you go. So last week we talked about those who fail. This week we talk about those who succeed. The next episode we're going to be getting juicy because we're going to be talking about the most important part of training and bodybuilding and fat loss, and that's supplements.
Ooh. Fucking mouse.